Oh, I gotta turn them off. I'll go turn them off.
Check, check.
Check, check, check.
Check, check. Aloha kakahiaka kako e nā hoa maka maka o ko Hawaii pai aina. Aloha e Hawaii nui o ke ave. Aloha no e Maui nui a kama. Aloha kako e Moloka nui a hina. Aloha e o ahu a lua no ka kuhi hewa. Aloha e kauai o nā mana hune mene hune o mano kalani po. Welcome to Hawaiian Kingdom News Live. 7 days of headline news in 60 minutes. The first and only Hawaiian Kingdom live news in the country, exposing 127 years of genocide on Hawaiians through an ongoing, illegal, prolonged occupation. Now the weather with the national crisis.
Aloha kako, welcome to another episode of Darkside of Hawaiian Politics, Hawaiian Kingdom News on your Saturday, April 11th, 2020 weather update from Mokuaina. Out in Honokaa town, your highs today is 81, your lows 63. It's very bright outside, and coming out down to Puilo town and Kapaole plantation, where it looks very hot and bright for the Ava Olympics today.
Oh, yeah.
And out in Keao, it's 82 high, low 67. And out in Volcano, your highs is 71, low 56. Down in Pahala Town, high 78, low 61. And out in Kailua Town, 84 highs, 72 lows. And out in Kauai High, your highs is 84, your lows is 68. And now for your Emergency Proclamation Surf Update, social distancing episode. East Shores is 1 to 3 feet, so it's good for your walking, but make sure you're walking and walk back to your car and go back home. Out is North Shore is 5 to 9, so there's not too many swimming or activities, so be careful, practice your social distancing, and remain at home. As your west is 3 to 6, and down south is 2 to 4. So there you have it for your Moko Keawe morning edition of weather. And up on Mauna Kea today, it looks very clear and very hot. So if you guys want to send your pule because of social distancing, there will be no aha, but you can continue to send your pule. Back to DJ Derbs for our Mana Olelo before we get into our sections.
Aloha kako. So after this month, just looking at how government officials around the world and in the Hawaiian Kingdom are making decisions, the first word came to my mind was illegal. So I typed in the word illegal into Nā Puke Vehe Vehe online, and what pops up is ku ole ike kanawai. It's the first time I've ever heard that translation for illegal. So I type in ku ole ike kanawai into Papa Kilo database, and guess what? 2 articles pop up. So that interests me. Only 2 articles. And guess what years they come from? 1941 and 1942. So the first thing that came to my mind is someone's colonizing the Hawaiian language dictionary online.
Yeah.
Because if it begins after 1893, it's all suspect.
Right.
So anyway, looking at ku ole ike kanawai, and it talks about the article is about 30,000 illegal voters. I'm like, oh, this is amazing. And this is Kahoku o Hawaii, the newspaper. I learned illegal or breaking the law from my kupuna as ae kanawai, ae kapu. So when I type in ae kanawai again in the Hawaiian language newspapers, article pops up, Nu Pepa Ku'oko'a, June 27, 1863. So that I gotta read, because it's prior to the beginning of the illegal occupation. And the article is really long, so the message for our Mana Olelo today is anything after 1893 is suspect. No matter if
Always.
It's online, offline, or so you got to question everything to make sure you go back to prior of the brainwashing, the colonization, the indoctrination, the denationalization. All of those mechanisms hurt our identity of who we are. So don't get confused, kako.
Yeah.
Go back to the source. Go back to the prior illegality of the illegal overthrow. So that's our Mana Olelo for today is illegal ae kanawai, not ku ole ike kanawai. Aloha.
Ai, mahalo DJ Dirt for the Mana Olelo. Before we get into our smash or pass segment, The Dark Side of Hawaiian Politics, Hawaiian Kingdom. So first up on the chopping block for today is yours truly, Ige named top 5 worst state leaders in pandemic era. KITV reports.
So KITV4, ABC, Governor Igeat named in top 5 worst state leaders amid pandemic. And Kako, if you were with us in January, he actually won the prize and the award for being the worst governor in the entire nation. So
Right.
I'm not sure how much steps he went from the worst, but clearly being in the top 5 worst in all of the nation among 50 governors is not a consistent place that you want to be. So if you're a voter and you choose his successor, who he chooses to be his successor, or choose to support Governor Ige, you are hupo loa. Because how can we support the worst governor making the worst decisions compared to the entire nation across America and still continue to have him to be our leader? So the worst governor pandemic response is I gotta smash Governor Igeat for his decisions and slow responses.
KP, what do you think about your top 5 candidate?
All right. So if you look at Ige, he's actually in line with he's lower than any third world country leader. Because even like so-called smaller countries, they're taking an effective measure to bring down the C-19. And one thing that we have in the Hawaiian Island is the consistent practices of Ige being 3 steps behind everybody else. So, he's a consistent loser. And it's really sad to say, because not only, we can see what's, development in the Hawaiian Islands, but also in America, as they, also chose him as the worst governor in the Americas, or so-called, for us, is the U.S. occupied governor. So it's like he's very consistent, and his consistency is a lack of credibility to enforce strict measures to avoiding or banning any tourists from coming into the Hawaiian Islands. So
KP.
So I gotta give him a smash, and a little birdie told me that Tulsi Gabbard is actually running for governor, so we might have another candidate.
There you go, KP, cornerstone. So once again, DJ Derbs, you're right. Ige did win the top award earlier this year, and now the American society is looking at him again. And so now with this, like you said, KP, he is a proven suspect to continuing this loser legacy in this occupying government, because our family members are being the victims of this careless acts that he's continuing to do by letting our flights continue, to letting tourism to walk around freely. And this is just bad leadership on behalf. So with that being said, KP, it is a smash, because he is, I believe, number 1. He's not top 5. He got to take the cake when you're the head of the cake, right? So next up on the chopping block, DJ Derbs, is
California declares independence as a nation state. So Gavin Newsom, the governor for California, has used the word nation state, which implies succeed. But remember, our situation in the Hawaiian Kingdom is different, Kako. We were never legally seated. So therefore, it's an illegal occupation. But why does California want to jump ahead of proper legal recourse when the Hawaiian Kingdom should be the first in line of any state in the nation of the United States to gain freedom and independence. But when you look here, the article says the federal government is no longer a reliable partner in delivering health care, in supporting immigrants, supporting LGBT people, in protecting the environment. So we need to forge our own path. Quote, we can do everything in our power to protect our state, but we need a reliable federal partner. And right now, we don't have that. So Kako, remember, this is the Hawaiian Kingdom. The Hawaiian Kingdom hasn't had a reliable partner for over a century. Why is California jumping the gun ahead of the Hawaiian Kingdom? We should be the first to be allowed to control our nation state, especially when a global pandemic is happening. So kudos to you, Governor of California. Mahalo for bringing the issue up. I got to give you a pass for looking out for your citizens in California. And really, California was built upon the shoulders of Hawaiian sugar and Hawaiian food. So I got to give him a pass.
Cornerstone, KP,
All
nation
right.
state.
So when it comes to California and the Hawaiian Kingdom, you're talking about two different subjects, because California was ceded, to the United States versus the Hawaiian Kingdom, where we was actually a nation state recognized under the Family of Nations.
Yes.
So we should be actually in negotiation to end the U.S. occupation, whereas in California, they're going to have a harder time because they have to succeed.
Yes.
Where we're not succeeding because we were never a part of the United States. And yes, Hawaii played a major role with California with the gold rush. Did you guys know that a lot of the laborers came from Hawaii, Chinese laborers?
Yes,
and also, in Pahoa, the wood mill was actually built solely to cut down the ohia trees in Puna and make railroad ties, and it was shipped to California for their railroad system. So we played a large role in developing California. But kudos to the California governor. If they can succeed from the United States, well, more power to you guys. So I give you a pass.
KP, Cornerstone, nation state. Thank you for clearing up everything with the nation state. Like you said, we were already recognized amongst the families of nations. So this topic right here really is intriguing, because a lot of our foods and our supplies come from the West Coast.
Exactly,
So
yes.
we have a big, vast interest with the West Coast. So that's where the relationship should be focused in, because right now, as you see shortages and supplies that are being stolen from during these pandemic times.
Oh, yes,
I can see why the governor is making this bold statement or attempting this bold move, because like you said, they have to succeed from the from the United States. So that can be a little challenging, but in a time of pandemic, the creativity of this governor, I must give him a pass, because right now he is looking at his family and his communities, and he's weighing and assessing the damage and what they see that they can make a move forward. They already pay for a lot of their taxes, just like their road facilities and so forth, just like our families. So with that being said, we support the endeavor for other nation states to appear with due process, because now is the time that we all must be held accountable to our communities. So mahalo to Governor of California for taking the bold move. Next up, we have on the chopping block, DJ Derbs, is
A Democratic presidential nominee who pulled out, Tulsi Gabbard. She rocks the headlines in Ko Hawaii Pai'aina this week by requesting of Governor David Ige to fire your top health officials or resign yourself.
Yeah.
So Bruce Anderson, director of the Department of Health, and Sarah Park, sidekick,
Yes.
Tulsi Gabbard, representative, requests that they both be fired on the spot for their negligence of their decisions to keep Hawaii people safe. And I just got a aloha nui yaya o Tulsi Gabbard for making that decision that got me all excited, because I felt the same way since the first time Bruce Anderson opened up his hole, and Sarah Park. So I gotta give Tulsi Gabbard, with her big smile, a big pass for her public statement to fire those health officials. Let Lieutenant Governor Josh Green lead the charge, and Governor Igiat, if you cannot do that, you need to resign yourself. So mahalo Tulsi Gabbard for bringing up what all of the people across the Ko Hawaii Pai'aina has been thinking, Hawaiian National or not, to fire these Igiats.
Igiats. Cornerstone, Tulsi Gabbard, coming out of nowhere.
Well, you need leaders like Tulsi to step up, because she can see the chaos and turmoil within the Hawaiian Islands. And you could see, we're like 3 steps behind, and you can just look at the numbers in Hawaii, how many people are positive. And so, I truly believe what she's saying, to fire both of them. You need to get rid of them because they're useless. And, you can look by the numbers. So, Tulsi Gabbard is she's a very good, outspoken person, and she knows what she's talking about. She has military experience, and I personally feel that maybe Ige should step down, resign, and let Josh Green, take the lead as governor.
Yes, KP. So that must be a pass for her.
Oh yeah,
cutie.
Definitely.
So this Tulsi Gabbard comes out of nowhere again, right? And she comes out swinging KP with the fire stick, and she's just start putting guys. So if you guys ever see that curfew violations that's going out in India and whatnot, you see how they beat those guys down with the stick, for curfew violation. Well, that's what Tulsi is doing. She's just beating down these politicians who are continuing to show us their losing streak, right, KP?
Yeah, I mean, I had the opportunity to spend some time when she came up to the Mauna. So we had maybe a 10, 15 minute discussion, about Hawaii and the military and stuff like that. And to me, she's a great leader.
So yes, KP, she came out of nowhere because she was running for president, but then she came back with the bamboo stick and started to hit some Ige Fernandez clowns out here. So I gotta give her a pass. She took a break. She went out to Syria. She checked out the napalm gases. She seen how crazy it got. And then she came back home with the pa'i stick, and she said the first 2 violators are going to be the head lynchmen, the Ige Fernandez show. And she went up there and she took the first swing and she hit a home run.
2 guys one time.
2 guys one time. So that Vivi stick or that bamboo stick was long.
Oh, yeah,
because she caught 2 guys in one slap. So 1 pass for our dear friend Tulsi Gabbard that came out of left field swinging like a champ. So there you have it, DJ Derbs. Thank you for bringing that light back, because we was looking for the first pa'i stick to appear to the Ige Fernandez show, because I want to swing at it, right, KP?
Oh yeah.
We want to take a swing at this clown festival that the Ige Fernandez is showing up. But for you, Tulsi Gabbard, we give you the pass because you stood up and you gave him the swing of a lifetime, and you hit a grand slam. Next up, we have our South Pacific Island news updates with our stats, COVID, and other international news with our cornerstone KP. KP.
Aloha. On today, I have the current stats of the C19 in the South Pacific. So I'm going to cover the numbers. First off is Aotearoa. They have 1,320. But the good news is the active case is way down from the almost 5 days. So that's it looks like they're actually at their peak. Hopefully they're at their peak. In American Samoa, They have really strict rules, and they don't have any C-19. So that's good. Same as the Cook Islands. The Cook Islands, they have zero C-19 on the Cook Islands. With Guam, the C-19 actually rose to 130 positive people on Guam, and it's due to the military, which was infected on the ships, and they had the liberty to be within the community in Guam. So that's it's really sad. Okay, with Fiji, they have currently 19. So that numbers is actually stabilizing at 19. So it didn't rise to any more than 19. All right. So as we come to our homeland, the Hawaiian Islands, the Hawaiian Kingdom, we have currently 465. Okay, and I believe the current count, there's actually 6 deaths within our island nation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, with the Kingdom of Tonga, they have 0 C-19. That's great. Kiribati, they have 0. Marshall Islands, they have 0. Micronesia, they have 0. Nauru, they have 0. New Caledonia, it's actually stabilizing at currently 18. So that's really good news. For Niue, they have 0. For the Northern Mariana Islands, they actually have 3 additional cases for a total number of 11. For Palau, they have 0. For Papua New Guinea, they're stabilizing at 26 cases. Solomon Islands, they have 0 cases. Samoa, they have 0 cases. At Tahiti, stabilizing at 42 current cases. For Tokelau, 0. Tuvalu, 0. And finally, Vanuatu, they have 0 cases. So it's looking really good in the South Pacific, except for Aotearoa with the most active cases, but it's stabilizing.
Looking like we're stabilizing.
Yeah, so it's really good, and so hopefully the Hawaiian Kingdom under the U.S. occupation, they actually take it really seriously and ban all flights within the Hawaiian Islands.
Thank you, KP Cornerstone, for our statistics throughout our South Pacific COVID-19 emergency proclamation. It's always good to hear the data update every other day or so for our community. And so, mahalo. And so now we're up to our international news in South Pacific. Yes.
All right. So the first news article comes out from the Fiji. From Radio New Zealand, where thousands upon people living in Fiji is without power due to the cyclone Harold, which passed through the islands a few days ago. Okay, another news article. This is out of Samoa from Radio New Zealand. Is Samoa is free from C-19. But borders will be continue to be closed, and it's they're taking it really seriously. They have 0 C-19 cases, so that's really good. Okay, and finally in Vanuatu, from Radio New Zealand, they actually they're going to have their first delivery of medical aid from China. So that's really good and encouraging that other nations are helping one another. In this instance, China is assisting Vanuatu. So this is the South Pacific news.
South Pacific news and Kalamayao. But I know we didn't cover it, and I think we couldn't find the picture. But just a quick one, KP. The masks that was stolen.
Oh, yes.
The masks that was stolen, and who were the violators and who were the victims.
Okay, so apparently Germany they ordered, I believe, was 200,000 masks for the first responders, and so they put in the order, but under an old U.S. law, they can actually hijack any goods that they need. So what happened was, under the direction of the American Donald Trump, they hijacked the German shipment.
Hijack?
Yeah. So they piracy. So they took the 200,000 masks and diverted to the United States, and the Germans was waiting for the mask, and they found out that it was diverted to the United States.
Wow.
So that's piracy.
Theft, piracy at sea.
Yes.
In a time of pandemic, you got American stealers,
it's like
pirates.
It's every nation for himself now.
Every nation for himself.
Or the highest bidder.
Yes. So sorry we didn't get it up there today. Slightly difficulties to get that article, but we will try to post it up eventually throughout this day. But that's a one of the topics that we couldn't not talk about, right?
Yeah.
Is the piracy. So thank you, KP, for the South Pacific news for this week, April. Now, our last three on the chopping block for this episode, we have first Ke'amoku Kapu and the Kuleana case out in Maui, Nui, Akama. DJ Derbs, Ke'amoku Kapu on this historical Kuleana case. Komanao.
E mahalo e kia moku kapu e ka aina o ka waula e nona ohana. Mahalo, ohana kapu, for leading the charge in a 20-year court case that now, if you can prove through documents your genealogy to one of your ancestors that is on Land Commission Award or Royal Patent throughout the Pai'aina, the summary judgment from his case can be used for your case in reconnecting to your family ancestral lands and successfully winning through this current system your ancestral lands back. So you gotta look at Ohana Maui Ke'amoku Kapu and the work that he did through the court and the summary judgment, and research your genealogy, research your royal patents and land commission awards, and move back home, Kako. The biggest pass this week goes to Ke'amoku Kapu and his work, and all of the Ohanas out there working and trying your best, utilizing all avenues to get our Ohanas back home. So that's one example that we can use to successfully return to our homelands. I gotta give Uncle Kapu a pass on that one.
Yes. KP, Kuleana acknowledgement.
Well, it's always great to see our people going back on the island where they rightfully belong. And so the first step to actually obtain the rights to go back on your aina is the genealogy.
Eyo.
And Ke'amoku, so what he did, he first did his genealogy, did his homework.
Yes.
And once he found out that he's an heir, he's a rightful heir, then, he got all his stuff in order. Then he went to court. I know it took a long process, probably about 30 years. But at the end of the day, he's back on the aina. And anybody else can do the same thing, but you need to do your homework, and it starts with genealogy.
Yes. So, Anakala, I know we talked about it a little bit, but now we see the palapala that has been executed. And yes, this is a pass, Kako. Just like KP, the cornerstone, said, go and lay down that foundation. Your cornerstone is your moku auhau.
Yes.
Go home, lay that foundation, and upon that foundation, you'll be able to go back home. So just like DJ Derb said, go ahead, go read it, go check out the link. These things are applicable to our Ohanas. So go ahead and learn these methods that our Anakala has been trying to provide our community for years now. But we've seen the fruits of his labors now from the hard work that he has done. Now he's back home. And that should be the goal. you should be able to go back home during this time of occupation as Hawaiian Kingdom heirs to our national soils. So, kako, if you guys know Anakala, go ahead, give him a shout out, give him a like, tag him. We mahalo him and his ohana and all the ohana who continue to enforce Hawaiian Kingdom laws and issues upon the occupiers.
Yeah, because if you're really interested, Keomuku also, he does workshops. So
Yes.
and if you're interested, you can contact him, and you can go from there. Just contact him and talk to him.
Yes, Eo, Anakala Keomoku Kapu. Next up on the chopping block, we got Crook Clown Weld and the Sherwood Forest attempt to desecrate during a pandemic episode. KP and DJ Derbs, what do you think about this sneak attack on the goal line for the pandemic
Well,
touchdown?
he tried to do on quarterback sneak, but there's snuffing right there.
There's
on the, you know what I mean?
So KP, the quarterback sneak. What is he? Is he continuing to prove himself as a loser?
Right, consistently with Ige. You know what I mean? And after when they get caught, what they do? Oh, we're going to suspend this. You know what I mean? And then and what
During
they
the
do,
time of pandemic.
right? And then so what they do is they cite people because you're standing still. You're standing still to protest. All this, and then what they found? Iwi kupuna.
They found what they was looking for.
Right.
They found what they
Right.
was looking for.
Yeah. And then what? Now they stopped the construction, but you cannot pull the wool over our Kanakas because they're gonna be right there.
And not in the time of pandemic. So
Right.
that equals a what for this continued losing streak?
Yeah, because he's a loser. He going to try to use the guys of you need to stay off the streets, but you can have your construction crew out there and try to desecrate the grounds.
DJ Derbs, the quarterback sneak attack, Ige administration, Fernandez show.
It's unconscionable
Unconscionable.
the degree in which state of Hawaii government officials ignore, deny federal laws, rules, and regulations that are recognized in that federally recognized National Historic Site in 1964
Yeah.
that proclaimed that that's a National Historic Site because of Evie. And not only does he get stopped months ago with our Kanaka Maoli brothers and sisters out in Waimanalo stopping the construction, he waits until a mandatory quarantine to keep everyone home where only essential workers are allowed to go to work, declares the night before on a live that they will desecrate Iwi Kupuna in Waimanalo. That's just unconscionable, the disregard state of Hawaii government officials have for federal rules and regulations under their oath, the U.S. Constitution, and how during an emergency global pandemic, from what Ken Lawson said in his life, is how is Mayor Crook Codewell is going to justify building a park as an essential construction project. We need masks, Kako.
Yeah.
We need PPE, Kako. We need to support our healthcare workers in the hospitals, Kako. Not building a park while digging up Iwi Kupuna on the first day. So I just gotta give him a big smash, super big smash, on his decision to move the construction forward during this global pandemic, ignoring federally recognized National Historic Park status.
Mahalo SOS Ohana, mahalo Kuike na Ohana for going out there and practicing your social distancing and still holding the occupier accountable. At the 1 yard line, goal line, they decide to run the ball up the gap. And they ended up fumbling in the end zone.
Right.
Our kupuna was waiting for them.
Yeah.
And for that, I mahalo our nakupuna and Keokua and now Makua for everything that they do. But for those who got cited, for those who went during the emergency proclamation, it shows heart, it shows determination, And most of all, it shows kuleana. By those things empower and shows our family members that even though a time of pandemic, we're not going to allow you to run the ball on non-essentials. And so, Goal Line SOS, Na'ohana, we mahalo you guys for holding them down at the 1 yard line.
Yeah, the linemen.
The linemen who continue to hold down that front line while everybody is concerned, duly respected. But for those who lay it all out, we mahalo you, and we seen the keikis out there too, and we send our aloha, and we send our love out there too. Hunana niho. So there you guys have it. And last up but not least, our continuation from the Keamoku win, we have OHA announcing tax relief for Nakuliana Awards this past week. DJ Derbs, people are making a grand appearance. OHA tax relief. Kuleana hits the live.
If you ever want to connect the dots through how the Hawaiian Kingdom would infiltrate this current illegal occupation, it has to be through connecting Keamoku couples win with the Kuleana protection that OHA provides from invader colonizing, tax property rising systems and projects that seek to displace us from our lands through raising property tax.
Yes.
So under the Kuleana Act, that protects us, if we can link to our mo'okua or genealogy,
when we
link to it, you can move forward with just the minimum amount of stress for your family members through the colonizer system of discrimination and racism. So I just gotta give OHA Shmoha a pass for their Kuleana Act legislation within this current system. Mahalo nui for that, OHA. Pass.
Cornerstone, Kuleana.
Okay, so when it comes to OHA with the Kuleana Act, I gotta give them a pass because any help, any kukua for our people to actually get back on the aina and pay lesser illegal taxes is really great. You know what I mean? Because you shouldn't be paying any taxes at all. Because under the laws of occupation is that you shouldn't be paying taxes to the occupier. But,
yes.
But at least through OHA's I wouldn't say scam, but helping our people get back on the land. It's like not paying 100% of proceeds to an illegal entity, but now you're only going to pay 10%.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Kako, let me just relay something up here. Okay. On Oahu, Kuleana landowners may be eligible for a flat $150 tax. Qualified Kuleana holders in Hawaii County pay a $100 flat tax rate. In Honolulu, Kuleana owners may be eligible to pay a minimum of 300 Lau's property tax. Kako, if that doesn't encourage you, I don't know what does. Because prior to this love letter or announcement coming out, we got to give kudos to OHA. Once again, they wrote to David Ige Fernandez show that they seeked rent to be suspended for this pandemic. And only just last night, Ige responded with a soft blow to renters and so forth. But this, I believe, is a call out because one, you do not have the money to pay your rent for this next COVID episode, this next couple months, or it could have been longer. And with that being said, how are you supposed to pay the extortion rate? Well, Kako, OHA shows you how to pay 10% of that extortion rate. So, for that being said, as we work on our rough draft, the Kuleana tax relief is a great importance to our community right now. Because if you, like many of us, are feeling the stress of our landlords who don't own the land, but own the real property on our land, now is the time. Mahalo Keamoku Kapu and Mahalo Oha for stepping up once they seen Keamoku make his touchdown with the Ohanas out on Maui Nui Akama. So there you guys have it, Kako. For this week's Smash or Pass, we had an interesting rate this one, man.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Makahana Kaike for this week while we prep what to do, homework.
Be sure, Kako, get your huli out there, get your starters out there, and grow, kanu, grow the mea ai, so that you have mea ai coming forward. That's my makahana ka'ike for all of you. Don't forget tomorrow's show, Ko Hawaii Pai Aina Kino,
Yes.
where we'll be following up with our third episode. We'll be looking at our growers in the bottle, growers in the
Supplies.
Aina, and our supplies, so that you can just use everyday household items around the house and propagate, grow, and finally eat. So when these items grow good, we'll begin our cooking show after that, Kako.
Oh yes, yeah. So on tomorrow's episode,
Ka'ike.
what we're gonna do is actually use various sizes of PVC where you can construct, the same method of aquaponics or hydroponics. So we'll be covering PVC, how to assemble the PVC, how to cut the holes and stuff like that. So stay tuned for tomorrow's episode.
So, Makahana Kaike, na Ohana, go out there and find your cornerstones and continue on your journey of your moku auhau. Yes, Makahana Kaike. Go and pule, go and ask for permission from Nakupuna and Keakua and get down into your genealogy again. To go forward, sometimes we have to take a step back. And in this case, it's not a step back. It's a step in the right direction. Right, KP?
Oh yes.
Your moku auhau, many disagreements, many uncertainty that goes on in the world. The best thing you can do is know who you are in a time of this uncertainty. And that's what your genealogy that I wanted to makahana kaike for everybody this week. No matter if it's an hour, no matter if it's 10 minutes, go ahead, look at that birth certificates. Go ahead, look at your genealogies. You need to go back home. And to go back home, you must honor and respect those names, say those names, honor those names, and they will proven to help you out in the near future. So, for your makahana kaike, I hope that's a lot of work, but just like DJ Derbs and KP said, tomorrow we'll be working on some PVC
Yes.
aquaponics system, and we are going to go over the supplies and whatnot, what you need. Easy home to do system all around your house, basic necessities that are just laying around, KP.
Yes. Yeah, so basically what we're trying to show is that you can use any of these stuff that you find around the house to, start planting herbs, vegetables, or, fruits, strawberries. So, we want to actually help and kukua our community, in various ways. And this episodes that we're producing is to show people how to grow food.
And even so tomorrow we will be at the Kino section, and so we want you guys to send in your videos from the challenge. What DJ Derbs was saying, your challenge to show your malas, your gardens, your foods, your supplies, your techniques that you guys are using out there, because we've seen a lot of them. So if you guys could share it to Darkside of Hawaiian Politics, Hawaiian Kingdom News, go ahead and send your guys' pictures, maybe a short 2-minute clip. And we want to share some of that while we're doing our malas and doing our projects for aquaponics, yes?
Yes, because this is a contest. So, like every week, the best innovated inventions of how to propagate, we're going to actually give you a gift. So, send in your,
Yes.
the different methods of preparing planting
Yes.
From all different islands.
From all different islands. Send them in. We can show your pics, and you definitely win a prize from KP and the gang, Darkside of Hawaiian Politics. So, mahalo once again. To wrap it up, our Rapid Aloha segment.
Constitutional.
Oh, constitutional.
Breaker.
Kalamai. Drum roll. DJ Derbs, cut it up. We almost forgot the award today. Who wins our shiny, most prolific constitutional oath breaker of the week?
For me, Kako, this is a close race between Igiat and Coldwell. But because Igiat is getting recognized across the nation as the worst governor in America in January, and then now the worst governor in response to the pandemic, I don't have to recognize him as the constitutional oath breaker because the entire United States is. So I gotta give my award this week to Coldwell for desecrating Iwi Kupuna, federally recognized, Hawaiian Kingdom recognized. He desecrates and breaks a number of constitutions, not only in America, but in the Hawaiian Kingdom. So for me, Kako, Kirk the Crook Caldwell, he gets the award for the Constitutional Oath Breaker Award this
And
year.
so it's Cookie Crook Kirk, right? That's what our guy says, right? The pit bull Lawson. If you guys got a chance, man, check out his free educational tutorials. Teaches you how to not get violated without no lube. And this guy's a pit bull. But once again, Cookie Crook Kirk is definitely on the chopping block, but our oath breaker, I have to give it to the Ige Fernandez show to continuously showing its losing mentality. KP.
Well, I got to be consistent, for every week, every Saturday, the oath breaker is Ige.
It's Ige.
Got to be consistent, If you look, the United States is giving them, a special award.
We must do something right?
Right.
We got to be doing something right. We giving out awards, and everybody's giving out awards. See, we thought that we were just giving him the number one overall in the state. Guys giving him number one overall.
Number one.
This is crazy, Kako.
Yeah.
There you guys have it, man. For your Rapid Aloha, let's give out our shout outs to our local communities, our vendors, our farmers, and most of all of the people, our Mokuaina, that are selling their local products. KP, who you got first?
All right. I want to give a shout out to Kanaka Kava. Their
IG is up.
Yeah, so you can actually they have limited hours in Kailua at their location in the Coconut Grove, or you can go to their stand, fruit stand, vegetable stand, right off the road in Hamakua. So you can contact them on Instagram or Facebook. So go and check them out.
Head out to HPP, Hawaiian Paradise Park, between Kaloli and Shower, 24th Street. Go see Auntie Josie with the fresh produce every day. Open from 8 to 8. Selling that good ono lauai, fruits, vegetables, tomatoes, whatever you want it. Get it there on 24th in HPP.
Yes, and go ahead and support your local farmers. We got a lot of farmers out in Puna, Maku'u. Maku'u is one of our main homestead farmers market that you guys have to go out there and check out all the fresh fruits that they have. And we also have Michael Late. He's selling one of our Kanakas who are selling plants and cuttings. So you guys can go ahead and check out Michael Late. He's selling tangerines, avocados, cuttings of ulus, uwalas, haloa. Those are a lot of local fruits and that people are selling out there, plants and fresh fruits. So if you guys got a chance, go ahead and check them out with some new fresh produce and plants. KP.
So he's in where? Paneva?
He's located out in Hilo side.
Oh, Hilo.
So yes, we'll be posting their names and dates, but we'd like to mahalo even Ashley Kirkowitz and Kaika Marzo and a bunch of Ohanas who are passing out food to our kupuna and to our communities during this time of disaster.
Yes.
We mahalo you guys for opening up. I know that Health Food Basket DJ Derbs, schedule.
So we gotta give another shout out to the food bank throughout the islands, passing out packages. The lines are long, Kako. And if you're unemployed and you have the means, please go to the food bank on their scheduled times throughout the island. And I just want to encourage all restaurants out there. I see many restaurants coming forward. Poke Shack, Dried Sun Specialities, Asami's coming out giving free lunches. So I just want to mahalo all of those restaurants out there. IHOP in the morning giving free breakfasts for the Ono pancakes with take your cakeys there. They're gonna love it. It's free, Kako. All you gotta do is drive up between 7 and 8 and you get your free pancakes from IHOP out in Hilo. So I just want to encourage more restaurants out there to feed not only the keiki but the adults too, because when the adults see the keiki, the breakfast and food, they like eat them. So make sure you feed the adults too if you guys can. It's Ono Loa.
Ono Loa.
So I have one more. If you live in the Pauilo area, the community center is also giving out food lunches every Fridays.
Yes.
So if you live around that area, go check them out for kupuna. They have free food.
Yes, there you go, guys, for your rapid aloha for April. This is the Darkside of Hawaiian Politics, Hawaiian Kingdom, National Crisis with KP and DJ Derbs. To the next time this week for your COVID emergency proclamation will be on Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Yeah, 6
Till
p.m.
then, ku aloha aina.
Aloha Kako Apau.
Stay safe in the kingdom.